Hello, welcome to Sarcastic Remarks. My name is Ryan Chambers. Here in a second, I'll be joined by Chris and James. We want to thank our sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook, for being our sponsor of this episode, this podcast, and all of THPN. The Dallas Stars win by a final score today of 6-2. Almost said tonight, but nonetheless, 6-2. I don't even know what to say. Wedgwood was solid. Jamie Benn had a hat trick. Who would have thought? Jason Robertson is on a point streak. Pavelski's on a point streak. Gurianov is on a point streak. It just gets absolutely insane. With that said, let's go ahead and bring in James and Chris. Hey, guys, how is it going today? This is really starting to become the norm for the Dallas Stars, and I'm here for every last bit of it.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. I mean, we just made the Oilers look like the Coyotes. It was fantastic.
It's
amazing. Another touchdown, 2 touchdowns in a row.
Yeah, but no extra point today.
No extra point today.
No extra point. So
that's just terrible by the Stars.
I know. We're Hawk and Paw with the extra point. He can't put it up. Sorry. So, anyways, what's y'all's initial thoughts from this game? I mean, there's so much to delve into. What's your biggest thought?
The big thing for me, we won with special teams. First of all, I mean, Stars are 2 for 3 on the power play. Penalty kill, they're 1 for 6. That's fantastic against a great Oilers power play. We continue to shut down Draisaitl and McDavid. They still get a point tonight, but like Razor said at the end of the game, that's still cutting their normal point totals in half. So really took care of them very well. And I really didn't notice McDavid at all tonight. And you got to give all the credit in the world to Haskin for that. So just great game overall by the Stars. And the other thing you need to talk about is Jamie Benn. We talked about it in the beginning of the season. If this team is going to be a very good team, a contending team, Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin have to be better. And so far this season, they have absolutely done that. And look where we are, top of the Central.
James, what's your initial thoughts coming out of this game?
It's just a great feeling, especially with how the game ended up going and how it started and then how it ended. It was such a great feeling just to even watch the game. It was so much fun.
So without further ado, let's just get straight into the review. Right off the bat, first goal for the Dallas Stars, it's Pavelski. He scores in front from Rope Hintz. How many times have we said that the past couple of years? Pressure forced the turnover, and it was early for the Stars, about 6 minutes in, so not quite Minutemen goal, but still, nonetheless, the Stars are up 1-0 early on in the first period.
Yeah, it's just hard working from that first line. I mean, we know how much skill they have, but that's just hard work, hard forechecking, and sticking with it the whole time.
After that, Gurianov would actually hit the post. It was a low shot, but he hit the post nonetheless. Dallas Stars would go on the power play, and it was Jamie Benn who would have a fantastic game. He was probably the first star of the game for me. He actually drew that call. On that power play, guys, I honestly thought that the power play was pretty bad because there was 2 really big shorthanded chances for the Edmonton Oilers on that particular power play for the Stars. There was a couple of really good saves for Wedgwood. I wrote that 3 times in a row. And then Marchment and Ben had semi chances on that power play, but Edmonton had better chances on our own power play. Delandria would have a really big chance after an Edmonton turnover. It was like all of a sudden out of nowhere breakaway. The shots were 9-6 about 15 minutes in, and Hintz would have a couple of shorthanded chances as Dallas would go on the penalty kill. That would continue today, unfortunately. And they would kill that. There were 2-on-1s for each team ending the period, and then the last second of the period, Miller would get a hooking call, so it would go into the second period. But what was y'all's overall thoughts from that first period?
Yeah, the first 6 minutes were really just sloppy. I mean, both directions. You could tell it was a matinee game. After that first goal by the top line, which, by the way, best line in hockey by a mile, the game really started finding its groove, and the Stars were really going downhill against them. So really good first period by the Stars, in my opinion.
How did y'all feel about the penalties that the Stars were taking in the first period?
They were terrible calls. I mean, they were really ticky-tacky towards the Stars. Yes, you could call them penalties. That's fine. But there was none going against Edmonton when there was very obvious ones. I mean, Wyatt Johnson had a chance going forward. He got hacked in half almost. Ty Dellandrea on that breakaway that you mentioned totally got hooked probably 3 times. There was no call there. Yeah. I'm only going to mention that the one time, but the penalties tonight were very lopsided, and I did not like it.
I mean,
well, I'm gonna get into it one more time here in just a second because of the second period. But
the only frustrating thing about, I think the slashing was probably fine in the first period, but that hooking call was really, really frustrating because of all the hookings that they were just letting go. Like they weren't calling hooking, they weren't, and then they're gonna call the very last second of the period. Like it's just you can't do that.
It's not consistent.
No.
Oh, Ryan's muted again. Okay, going into the second period.
I'm still sick, okay? I'm trying not to sneeze everywhere.
Edmonton started out the period on that power play. It really kept that going for probably the first 5 minutes of the period, and they looked really strong in those first 5 minutes.
Wedgwood would continue to also be good through those first 5 minutes. He was very solid today. He the goals he let in, I thought they were okay goals to give up. But he was solid again today. And he continued to be really good, especially in the first half of that second period when it looked like that Edmonton was starting to push the boundaries a little bit to see if they could get some momentum swinging their way. Robo would have a chance. There was a couple of good shifts for Dallas. Literally about 20 seconds after I wrote that, Miller blasted it home. Holy crap. It was like 99.6 miles per hour is I think what Michelle McMahon said.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But still, the fact remains is that Jack Campbell needs to have that shot, honestly. He still needs to make that save. But nonetheless, it's 2-0 Dallas.
Nonetheless.
And he actually gets it in his glove there. And the speed, I guess, I don't know if he wasn't expecting it or he just wasn't strong enough in his wrists, but it just pushed through his glove and into the back of the net. So.
Would you give him the benefit of the doubt on that, or do you think he really should have had
he's
that?
got to save
No,
that.
he's got to save that, but it's a hard shot too. So
yeah.
Speaking of Campbell, he actually I just saw a tweet on my phone here, but from TSN, Campbell calls his play pathetic this season. So
that's fair.
I mean, even he understands it. That's a rough word for your own play.
He's at like a 4 goals against average per game in like through 8 games, I think 7 or 8.
To be fair, Oilers weren't helping a lot either. I mean, a lot of these chances are good scoring chances that the Stars scored on.
Yeah,
still,
but still, it's 4 goals.
Agreed.
4 goals a game, you just can't do.
Well, Dellandrea will get filled in by Niemelainen. I love that name. That's an awesome name. At this point in the game, the shots are 19-16 Dallas, and then Fox would take a penalty. That leads to a Draisaitl goal after Suter has his stick broken by Draisaitl. So that was really frustrating because Fox, the penalty that he took was because of a slashing at the stick out of somebody's hand. So that was super frustrating. What did you think of the goal there?
Ridiculous. I mean,
you don't know what to say about it.
We take a slashing penalty, then Draisaitl literally slashes the stick out of her hand, and it's not called, and then scores on it. I mean, it's unlucky that the stick broke. I mean, Draisaitl really didn't hit it that hard, but just it felt rude.
It was like the only way they could score today was on a 5-on-3.5, basically.
Yeah.
So then this is what I really want to talk about because this really hacked me off, and I thought this was going to be a turning point in the game. And you know, one of the things the Stars have actually done really well is they haven't let stupid things derail them. Pavelski would have a big clean hit. A scrum would ensue, and right before that scrum ensued, Hyman basically charged Pavelski after that hit. It was completely.
Not basically. He did.
Okay, he did. All right, he did. He charged Pavelski, and that was the retaliation. That should have been called. And then Hintz had a little slash on Hyman's stick, and then Hintz is the only one that gets a penalty out of all of that. That makes a lot of sense.
The fact that Hyman doesn't get a penalty there is atrocious. I mean, he's Zach Hyman. That's what he's known for, is dirty plays. And he draws a penalty because Roope Hintz is trying to get his attention to talk to him. It's a terrible call. There's no way Dallas should be shorthanded after that.
Yeah. It hurt even more because of all the penalties that we were already taking.
Yeah, that were already weak.
Yeah, that were already weak. And then they don't call an obvious charge against the oldest player on our team.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, man.
No, I understand them calling the slash on Rope. I understand that, but there's no way that should have been a power play.
Like I
Right,
was
no, that's
fully
what I'm saying.
expecting a 4-on-4.
Yeah.
I
I
was
was too.
expecting it.
You could have evened it up on the hit by Hyman or in the corner after they all chased down Joe Pavelski. I mean,
Right.
there's 5 guys in Edmonton's corner all shoving their glove in Joe Pavelski's face, and there's no penalty there at all. It's not good.
I wrote, what a joke. Screw these refs. Dallas is on the penalty kill.
Yeah.
So,
In our little group chat, I typed in, "Are you kidding me?" in all caps.
yeah, no. I was really mad at that point. I was very mad. Nonetheless, I keep saying nonetheless.
Nonetheless.
I'm gonna nickname this episode nonetheless.
Nonetheless.
Dallas would kill both of those penalties, or both of those penalties. They would kill off both of those minutes of that penalty, and then in my head, it's almost like I was, Nostradamus here. I was thinking, okay, now they need to go shove it down their throats, and that's exactly what they did. Not even 20 seconds after the penalty expires, Robo scores off the rush. Maybe Campbell should have had that. But it's 3-1 Dallas, and Robertson gets another goal. He's on a 5-game goal scoring streak and a 6-game point streak.
And that's the great thing about this team and about that line specifically too. Like it totally could have delved into a just dirty, rough game after that point, and us just trying to make it even. But first line just ignores it, and they just go score a goal. They're like, okay, that'll even it up. We'll just take a 3-1 lead. Sounds fair.
And that's specifically why we call them the Minutemen line. I mean, they like to do things right after something happens. That's their whole point. They're so good at it too. It's amazing.
And it's so important because it changes. Like you talk about it all the time, James. A minute after, like a power play, a goal, the period ending or beginning, those are huge momentum shifts. Way more than if it's just in the middle of the period. And they're clutch. I mean, that whole first line is clutch, and they're good, and best line in hockey.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
And I will give Campbell a little bit of help on that one. That one went off the post and off his back and in. I mean, that's pretty unlucky for him. A little bit of a lucky break for us, but
we deserved it.
Yeah, we deserved it.
In the words of our patriarch, our father, the hockey gods did not approve of that penalty. So that's what they get. Dallas would go on the power play immediately after the goal, and then they would score. Jamie Benn would score off of his own rebound. It would be the first goal of the game for Jamie Benn. And the shots are 28-18 at this point in the game. Chaos would ensue in front of Wedgwood, about 30 seconds remaining in the period. After the puck bounces off a Dallas skate, it was kind of unfortunate. But the story of that second period, you guys, for me at least, was the fact that even though there was some adversity that came towards the Stars in that way, they were, whatever, blew it off, and the penalty kill and the power play was the story of that second period.
Yeah, going shorthanded there could easily piss you off and throw you off your game, and it didn't phase him at all. Just came right back, took care of business.
Yep.
And how about that first Jamie Benn goal? Nothing spectacular to talk about, but we say that about Robertson,
and that's where it goes.
We say that about Robertson.
That's
Robertson
how Jamie Benn won the Art Ross. He just sat in front of the net. The puck hit the goalie, fell on his tape. He put it in. I mean, if he does that all year long, we're going to be a fantastic hockey team.
Yeah, and it's great work from Robertson too. He almost tucked it in himself even on that one.
So going into the third, one of the things I pointed out, Robertson has 18 points. Now it's 19 points in 12 games. He is behind only 2 people. Guess who those 2 people are? Draisaitl and McDavid. he is third in the NHL in points.
Think he's underpaid?
No.
Yeah.
Gary Onoff would have a shot blocked by Derek Ryan. It was a good chance for him. 10 seconds after that, the Stars get scored on. It's Darnell Nurse off the rush. He gets a great shot. The puck went up on end. It was, cookie jar right in the corner. Great shot by him. And it was a really good goal. What did y'all think about that goal by Darnell Nurse?
Yeah. Good shot.
Yeah,
kind of lucky that it jumps on his tape.
Yeah, it jumped up, but he put it in the right spot. I mean, it was a good shot.
Literally 7 seconds after that, Dallas would go on the power play. Kane would get a penalty for cross-checking, and then Ben would score again. His second power play goal of the game. He scores after a block shot. Again, he's in the right place at the right time. It was an unlucky bounce for Edmonton, but who cares? That's how Robertson scores all his goals. He's in the right place at the right time, it seems like. So 5-2 Dallas.
Very good. And that ices it. I mean, after the Nurse goal, you're thinking, this is a good offensive team. They can really come back here. And you get that power play, and that's the first thing that popped in my head. You score a goal here, ice the game. And that's exactly what it did. Game was over after that.
Yep.
Right after that, a little bit of an unfortunate penalty for Kiviranta. I mean, Fogel was falling down on the ice, and Kiwi gets a double minor for high sticking. James, you look.
It's slow sticking. It's slow sticking. Okay, like what is he supposed to do about that? He literally did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong. But yes, it is the rule. I agree that it's a penalty, but the thing is, it shouldn't be.
It sucks.
It does suck. It does.
He got 4 minutes for low sticking.
Low sticking. I don't know. I still think it's a penalty, but it was unfortunate. But
where he hit him in the face, it was the dude's head was below Kivirantov's waist. Where else does your stick go?
You got to be in control of your stick. I mean, if you got weapons like that in sports, I mean, that's the only way I think it's fair. So,
what's funny is I kind of agree.
Be that low to the ice.
What's kind of funny is I kind of agree with both James and Chris at this moment. I'm like, what is he supposed to do? But it's a penalty. Dallas would kill the double minor. So this is the second time in the game where something could have happened really bad for the Stars. Adversity came their way, and they just took it and just went whatever with it and killed both minors off.
Yeah.
Right after the double minor, Jamie Benn scores his hat trick goal. It was a 2-on-1. And this was the first real goal for Jamie Benn, where he actually beats a goaltender. And it's his fourth goal of the season, third of the game.
And what a shot. I mean, and we talked about this for 3 years probably. If Jamie Benn just takes more wrist shots, he's going to score a lot more goals. So hopefully that gives him some confidence going forward too.
And he was trying to pass it that entire 2-on-1 too. And he just ran out of time. He's like, okay, fine, I'll take it.
Don't pass it. Just shoot. You're a goal scorer. Score goals.
That was the funny thing is he didn't want to shoot it. it was like the most. It was the most like fine, and as he takes the shot and he gets a hat trick. So it was great. After that, there wasn't much. I just wrote down it was really quiet in that arena, and I can imagine that a lot of Edmonton Oilers fans are very upset right now after this game and the game on Thursday that they had against the Devils, where they lost the lead, and it took 2 goals in 7 seconds for the Devils to win that game. So
yeah. Well, I'll tell you this too. I mean, did y'all see the graphic that came up about the Stars versus the Oilers since 1993?
Yes, 721 win percentage.
It's 714 points percentage. So, but it's still like we are like 69 or 70 now, 70, 14, and 11 or something like that.
That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
It's like we just don't lose to this team for some reason. It's the same thing that happens with us when we play against the Senators. It's like
we can't figure the Senators out.
And for some reason, it just works out that way.
Yeah. So Stars would win the game 6-2. At the end of the game, they pull up a graphic at the bottom of the screen saying all 8 wins for the Dallas Stars this season have been by multiple goals, and 7 of the 8, get this, have been by 3 or more. I never 100% would have seen that, even with Pete DeBoer coming in.
That's a lot of goals.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
Yeah, and really, I feel like we've gone far enough in the season. This is what this team is. It's kind of solidified now, I feel like. And we finally found the combination of offense and defense that we've been looking for probably 8 years now. So like when Lindy Ruff was here, we could score goals at the wazoo, couldn't keep anything out of our own net. We bring in Hitchcock and get that rotation of coaches going that are defensive minded. We're top 5 in defense, and we can't score goals to save our lives. And right now we are solidly top 10 in both offense and defense. And it feels like we finally found the coach that brought it all together, and we're rolling right now. This is a cup contending team at the moment.
Yes, it is early though. So and I know it is what, 11? Are we 12? 12 games into the season. But still, you can't help but be excited for the fact that this team is going someplace. It looks like they're going someplace. And I mean, tell us some things about what happened in this game today, guys, because
All right.
there's a lot
Okay.
to talk about.
So I wanted to talk about one thing specifically because Ardell was like, "Hey James, go look at the stats and look at Robertson and see what stood out." Guess how many shots Robertson had tonight?
A lot.
15.
He had 10 shots.
Oh my god.
Oh my
The
goodness.
Stars only had 36 shots. Robertson had 10 of them. So
he
the
basically
Stars
had a
shot
quarter of the
26
shots.
times and Robertson shot 10.
It's almost like you think Pete DeBoer had just told him, "Hey, don't even bother passing the puck. Just shoot it from wherever you go from."
He has more shots than Draisaitl and McDavid combined.
And Kane.
And Kane.
Oh
Yeah,
my
all of them
gosh.
combined.
All three of them combined. He has more shots than them on the night. But yeah, he gets a goal, 2 assists, 3 points, 10 shots. That's why he's the first star on the night. So
Christian, what was something that stuck out to you tonight? What happened in today's game?
Like I said in the beginning, the special teams is great. I mean, I think combined penalty kill and power play, we've got to be the best team in the league. It's fantastic.
What do you think's better, the power play or the penalty kill right now?
power play with Miro.
Yeah.
As long as we have
Miro,
Miro,
that's a good
it's
Miro's
point.
power
on the
play.
ice, the power play is better. But the penalty kill, we're the most penalized team in the league. That's probably the worst thing about this team is that we take a ton of penalties. And it has hurt us probably 2 games.
Yeah, I mean we're fifth in the league in penalty kills still.
Yeah, with the most penalties. That's pretty unbelievable.
This is something I wanted to talk about and I wanted to bring up in today's game is that I was frustrated. If I'm going to be frustrated about anything with this game, it's the penalties. And it feels like to me as a Stars fan, and I'm obviously biased, that a lot of these penalties that we're taking are really stupid ticky-tacky penalties, right? They're not like legit penalties. Like maybe half of them, I think, are given actual penalties.
Well, honestly, if I could just interrupt you for 1 second.
Go ahead.
Tonight we have 4 penalties if Kiviranta doesn't get an unlucky low sticking double minor. I mean, then it's 4-3 in penalties. It's like that's not that far off, honestly.
Yeah.
But
the Hintz penalty, the Hintz penalty was ridiculous. The first penalty was absolutely ridiculous in my opinion as well. I mean, it feels like they're not actually calling the actual penalties, and it's not just one game. This has been like a season long thing. This is me biased as a Stars fan.
Yeah, I'll play devil's advocate on it. All 4 of the actual penalties, we'll call them, the non-unlucky penalties, were all stick checks too. So the Stars are stick checking a lot more than the other team consistently. So when you're doing that, the refs are probably seeing that more, and they're thinking they need to call them more, which I don't know if that's fair or not, but when you're getting your stick on the other opponent a lot more, you're more likely to take stick infractions.
Maybe, but still, I'm either the Stars have just got to stop something that they're doing with that, because eventually this is going to really it's going to destroy them. I mean, the penalty kill, it has been very good, and like you said, Chris, there's been like 1 or 2 games where it's kind of screwed them over, but they can't continue to be this good every single game and expect to have a winning record. That's the only thing I'm scared about.
I agree you can curb it a little bit, but when we're putting this much pressure on the opponent, it's almost worth it, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, with the record,
you think it's a nature of the system?
Yeah,
it's definitely a nature of the system, at least a little bit.
Yeah, I really think that there's only been 1 game where it hurt us, and it was the game against Toronto. I really think that's the only time that we got burned because of it. I mean, we had 8 penalties in that game,
and we weren't really playing that well.
And we
that game
still
either.
almost won. We took that game to overtime and lost 3-2.
Yeah, that's true.
And this one was 6 penalties, and we got a really unlucky double minor, which you can't do much about. So I don't think it's as big a deal as a lot of people feel like it is, but it will be the reason we lose most of the time, I think.
And then another thing I wanted to bring up, obviously, is we got to talk about Jamie Benn. Jamie Benn, it seems like ever
What a
since we talked
monster.
about him since Wednesday, where, hey, is he coming back? Is Gurianov coming back? Both of those guys have just come out of their shell, and it looks like they're finally starting to click. And Jamie especially has clicked, and especially in the last 2 games. Yes, it was against Arizona, but I mean, Edmonton is not a bad team. They are a very good team that looked like they were supposed to be a cup contender, and he made them look like little fledglings out there today. It was ridiculous.
And I'll say the last 3 games for Ben, and I've been most critical of him, so I'll take him as my biggest winner tonight. He's been fantastic the past 3 games, and with limited ice time tonight too. He finishes with a total of 1255, which is on the lower half, and just his goals are classic Jamie Benn. Get in front of the net and do your thing, and be big and muscly and aggressive, and he's doing it fantastic. The line, he's the leader on that line. I mean, Delandria and Johnson are doing really good, but when that line's on the ice, you notice Jamie Benn. He's the most noticeable person there. So he's been doing fantastic. And like I said in the beginning, if he keeps this up, Stars are going to be a fantastic team with 3 scoring lines. 3 lines tonight, score again. So really good.
They're kind of taking a page out of the St. Louis book from last year, where they had three lines that were just scoring consistently. And even though that 4th line is not scoring as much, Foxa, Glendening, and Kiwi, they have been extremely noticeable. And that's something that we didn't see a ton of last season, where that 4th line was constantly in a blender with bonus.
Shorthanded time on ice, Glendening, 450, Foxa, 342, Kiviranta 306, and I'll throw in Delandria too, 318 for Delandria, 3 for Jamie Benn. So yeah, those guys are fantastic, and that is not only great defending, it gives your offense the rest and the chance to score in the better situations. So the fact that we can have our quote unquote worst forwards on the ice on shorthanded and trust them completely is such a weapon.
And the crazier thing is that they played on those 6. We had 6 penalties on the night. The Oilers only got 6 shots on those 6 penalties.
That's insane.
That's all shot blocking and getting your sticks in the lane. That is absolutely outstanding penalty killing tonight.
So just looking at some of the stats in today's game, I mean, Jamie Benn has 3 goals. Robertson has 3 points. Hintz has 2 assists. Gurianov has an assist. Sagan has an assist. Very quietly is doing really well. Delandria gets rewarded with an assist. Miro Heiskanen has 2 assists. Hakanpää has an assist. I mean, it seems like everybody offensively is contributing to this team. And then when you look at Wedgwood's numbers today, he has a .933 save percentage. .933 save percentage. That's absolutely insane. And he's only let in 2 goals the last 2 games. So, and that's an improvement from the previous couple of games he had when Otter was still here. He has all the pressure on him right now as basically the number 1 starter. And he's kind of stood up to the task, and he's been very solid for this team.
And the team in front of him is playing better too. We're playing better defensively in front of Wedgwood right now, and we need to, because he's got more rebounds coming off of him for sure. You can see that, and the Stars are just taking care of it. He is. There's not been a lot of sustained pressure after a shot.
So, who is your biggest winner from today's game, James? Because Chris already gave his.
I'm gonna go with Robertson. I mean, the dude's a beast. I mean. It
19
really
points in 12 games. That's stupid.
It's ridiculous. I mean, he has a goal, 2 assists, and 10 shots on the night. Like, dude, he was out for blood tonight. It's honestly insane that he didn't score the one that Ben tapped in for him. But he's all over the ice. He knows exactly what he wants to do with the puck. He's always in the right spot. It's just insane to watch him play the game. And he's not a flashy player either. I mean, you talk about Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and these guys are flashy. They will go on the rush. They will outskate everyone on the ice and score by themselves. That's not what Robertson does. Robertson just is consistent, always goes to the right spot, always knows where he's supposed to be, and scores the same amount as them. It's ridiculous.
Since y'all already took my 2, I was going to give mine to Scott Wedgwood, but I'm not going to pick him, actually. I got to go with Heiskanen again. I mean, everything is clicking for this team. You can't find one person on this team right now and say they're doing really, 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 really bad. Now, real quick, with saying that, Ryan Suter, who had a really bad game against Arizona, had a much better game today. He was very noticeable, especially in the defensive side of the puck. And I didn't see any turnovers from him at all today. So a much better game from him. But back to
Fantastic
Miro
on the
Heiskanen.
penalty kill. 5:37 shorthanded. 21 minutes time on ice. Got an assist and 3 shots on goal. He was outstanding.
And again, the guy is 37, 38. So, but back to Miro Heiskanen. The guy is elite. He better be up for any kind of trophy that he gets, because the guy is a hockey god. He is a hockey god icon. Insert word here. He is better than Cale Makar right now. And that's really easy to say right now because Cale Makar has not looked very good to start the season.
And the thing that's so nice about Heiskanen, I mean, we talked about it the last couple of games, is that he's just able, he controls his team. He really does. He changes how this team plays. He changes the power play completely. And it's just ridiculous that one player is able to do that much.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, I think we need to save the rest of it. We could keep talking for a while because of how well this team is going, but we'll save it for Wednesday night. Anything else we need to mention before we close it out?
Biggest losers?
Oh, yeah, we forgot our biggest losers. Do you have a biggest loser?
No, not yet.
I guess that's why I just kind of skipped over it, because I just I don't have one.
Biggest loser, Campbell. He sucked.
Okay, yeah, there you go. That's the easy one. Okay, Jack Campbell, and his play was pathetic, quoting his own words. So they should have taken him out after that third goal.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah, I was too, because I mean, even Razor mentioned it, and Razor's like the goalie whisperer. He's like, he's not seeing anything. He's not playing very well. He should have been taken out at that point. So yeah. Well, there you go. There's your biggest loser. James, do you actually have a biggest loser now?
I mean, I'll go with Kane.
Yeah.
Kane.
Kane sucks.
He's supposed to score a lot of goals. He didn't score on us tonight. He got an assist, but I mean, whatever. He took a penalty after they got that second goal that we scored on instantly. That kind of iced the game. So yeah. And he was invisible in the first 2 periods too, man. After the first period, I was talking to Dad and I was like, is Kane still on their team? And I literally had to go check. I had to check on NHL to make sure that he was actually on their lineup tonight. So yeah.
Fair enough. So all right. Anything else?
I'm good.
All right. James, when's the next game? I think it's Tuesday against Winnipeg. And Winnipeg is on a 5-0-1 run right now. They won 4-0 today. So that's going to be a very interesting tilt. And again, I never would have seen the day that Dallas and Winnipeg would be number 1 and 2 in the Central Division right now. So this is a battle of the top 2 teams in the Central Division on Tuesday. And not to mention Rick Bonus.
Easy teams recently, though. So
that is true.
They have to play the Dallas Stars now.
We have to. We got to play Arizona. So
yeah, but we just played Edmonton and won 6-2.
That is also true. So, well, we'll be looking forward to that. And then also on Wednesday, we're going to start a little earlier next Wednesday. So just a warning, instead of starting at 10:15, we're going to be starting at 9 because Bruce Levine will be coming on the show and joining us there. And there's a lot of really fun things to talk about with the Stars and with whatever he has up his sleeve. So that'll be interesting as well. And we look forward to having him on the show on Wednesdays. So along with Chris, along with James, my name is Ryan. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook. Chris, take us out.
GG, boys.
We'll catch you guys on the flip side. See y'all later.